So today we're gonna make cannon candles out of old ammo boxes. This is your solution for when you're at a festival, on a river trip, camping, whatever, where you either don't have time or are not allowed to make an actual campfire, but you wanna have that kind of flame, something warm, or even something to cook on. So this is a bypass for all of that. It doesn't require firewood. It's a contained candle, but it's about the size of a small campfire. So for those of you that don't know, these boxes come in different sizes based on the caliber and quantity of ammunition they're carrying. So this is a 30 cal box. They open up on the side with this latch, like that. The lids pop off, and then inside there's a rubber gasket pinned in place that keeps these watertight. They last just about forever. They're incredibly durable. And inside, it's just an empty metal box once you open it up. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to get the inside dimensions for the depth and width of the box. And then we're going to cut out pieces of cardboard that fit perfectly in all the way. And then 1-inch strips that are the same height. Now I'm gonna grab a hot glue gun and start to assemble the cardboard wick inside, which is what the flame is actually going to sit on, just like any other candle, but on a larger scale. Don't drive yourself crazy making these exactly square and perfect. They just need to be good enough for your friends to look at. So this is the basic pattern that I'm gonna be working with. It's gonna be 1 flat and then 3 rows of the skinny 1-inch pieces about equally split. I'm gonna flip that over and then do another piece of flat. I'm using just enough hot glue to hold this together while the wax pours, because once the wax goes in, it'll all be locked together. But for now, I need something to hold it together just long enough to get through that process. With that stack all done, the side that was facing you is going to go up, because that's the one that actually came out straight. Trim off anything poking out on the bottom. Slide it in. Should be nice and flush to the top. And check your work by reassembling the lid and closing it on the box. So now that we have our wick installed and we know that the height is correct, it's time to start looking at filling it with wax. What I did was ordered candle making soy wax, which comes in a pellet form, and you can then microwave it back into its liquid form like this. I tried for the first one to get it microwaved so it has this dark color. It's just barely liquid, and all you're gonna do is pour down and slowly start filling the can. You want to go incrementally and make sure that the bottom is solid as you're filling it so that the cardboard isn't going to float. And generally, just you don't need to worry about overheating the wax. It just needs to be just hot enough to pour. If you have any drop off or something like that, it's a good idea to have a flexible cutting board like this. When you wrap it up, the wax will pop off. You just remelt it and drop it back in. Now while the wax is heating up and getting ready to go in, what I'm going to do is start to convert the gasket in the top of the lid into something that's actually heat proof. The one that comes with it is fine for lasting a long time in warehouse conditions, but it's not going to deal with the heat. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a screwdriver, and there are 4 tabs around the sides that we're just going to bend up and out of the way, then release the gasket. So with that, we should be able to just pry it out. So you can see once you have it in your hands, both the thickness, but also that it indents to accept the top of the can. So what we're going to try and do is recreate this with high heat gasket maker. No real science to it. It's sort of like caulking a window. You're gonna bend these tabs you just bent up flat again, and then fill in the void with about the same thickness, and then just smooth it out. All right, so all done. Everything is filled in about to that correct depth. And then I use the back of a normal ballpoint pen to just run along the top and smooth everything out to give it that nice gasket surface. Now you're just gonna set this aside basically overnight, because that's how long the candle's gonna get set aside. Just put it somewhere where you're not breathing the fumes that are gonna off gas. So as I get to the end, I'm just going to put something big and heavy on top to hold the cardboard from floating. And then I am going to slowly pour until the wax is almost at the top of the can. So not quite to the top of the can. This is where I'm going to stop and start to let it cool. As it cools, the level of wax is going to sink. As it solidifies, it's going to take up less space. So once it has gotten a chance to harden, I'm going to top it off later. Let it get settled and start to harden at the bottom, and then if it's cold outside, move it out there so it speeds up the process. So after use, always go back and check your box. Make sure that you haven't burned down too much wax. If you have, no big deal. Just pour some more in and refill the areas that are empty. Okay, so last couple things that you need to know. Make sure that you're using cardboard that is not treated for water. So any beer boxes, stuff that Amazon sends you is not going to work very well. You want something that's for furniture or moving. One of those boxes is just going to make this work a whole lot better. In total, you're going to need about 8 pounds of wax between what you're actually going to put in and having a little bit of spare. If you're out in the field and you just want to carry spare candles and drop them onto it at the end of the night to melt more wax in for the next day, that totally works. You could, if you're doing a large number of these, use a double boiler system like you would for melting chocolate, or do this in the oven. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this. I am super stoked for my next little date night marshmallow roasting. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe.